50. You said 50,000 words in a day?
No. National Novel Writing Month is you're supposed to write a completed. It's a very short novel when you define novel. You're supposed to write a completed novel, 50,000 words or more, in a month.
In a month,
all in November.
Okay. Yeah, just
the
make
whole
sure
point
got
of
that right.
Yeah, the whole point of it is get the editor off your back. Don't second guess yourself. Just sit down and churn out words every single day, and don't get caught up in the self-doubt and everything. You can't. If you're going to write that many words in a month, you just have to spew words and come back and edit later. And that's a pretty valuable lesson for writers who can get hung up on, oh my God, that sentence is still not right. And they spend, 3 hours trying to fix a paragraph. It's like, no, get the whole story on paper and edit later.
Now, NaNoWriMo has been around for a while. And I appreciate how it pushes people to, I guess, become more disciplined. Now, has it become more of a fad?
I honestly don't know, because I did it the one time and I've never participated since. It helped me. It kind of proved something to me that I could really produce a lot of content in a very short amount of time if I put my mind to it. And that was the most valuable lesson. Since then, most of my novels now take me 5, 6, 7 months to write. I don't try to do it in a month. I have a day job. I don't really have that. It impacted my health severely. I can tell you that. The month after I did National Novel Writing Month, I was sick for a couple of weeks.
Like you were cutting off food? Like what?
No, I was just exhausted because I was burning the candle at both ends. I was getting up at 5 a.m, writing for a couple hours, going to work for 10 hours, coming home, writing until midnight. It was exhausting.
But I'm glad we're talking about this, because a lot of writers do listen to the show, and some of them, they lose the motivation. They lose the motivation, which I suppose happens, low sales sometimes, whatever. Maybe you lose interest in the story. Maybe it's lack of confidence. But in this month that you sat down and just wrote all these words out, like, I guess the question is, how did you do it? Like, what was the how did you make it work?
I mean, that's a great question, but I think the only real answer is you just do it.
I know, right? The answer is simple. You just do it, but it's like
every day.
How?
I mean, here's the thing. The reason that I write and the kinds of stories and the books that I write are they're stories that I want to read. Okay. So when I sit down to write a book or a story, whatever it is, I'm telling myself a story. Sometimes I don't feel like it. A lot of times I don't feel like it. And that's where the discipline comes in, where you say, shut up, sit your ass down and get the work done. But at the end of the day, if you train your brain to just sit down, you will not leave this chair until you type X number of words. That's a great motivator.
Okay. In this moment, like, we're talking about cutting off from distractions, no social media, no Facebook or Twitter or bullshit video games or Netflix or whatever. We're talking about just sit down and you're working on your book. Yep. That's it. I mean,
that's it.
What about with writer's block? I mean, has that ever been a factor?
To me, I don't know. I mean, for me, writer's block is I don't feel like writing. It's not that I can't write. It's not that I can't force things to appear on the page. It's that I don't feel like concentrating. And so that's what I have to overcome if I'm being slow to get work done.
Yeah, I get that. Is there something, it's like, am I just putting it off, procrastinating, stuff like that? And some people, they look at their procrastination as writer's block, when really it's not writer's block. It's just, they're just being lazy, to put it bluntly. So for the writers listening, hey, if you're stuck on a book and you're like, man, I want to get the short story done, but you haven't been doing it, just, I guess, look at what you've been doing. Like, if you're not writing, what are you doing with your time?
Yep. I mean, here's the thing. When I started out, I was a journalist, which is why the lead character of Covenant is a journalist. That's what I knew. And as a journalist, you don't have the luxury of saying, yeah, I don't feel like doing that 1,000-word story today. Because guess what? It's your paycheck. You